Greetings, YouTube. This is Rhett with Rolling Forward. And as you probably know, if you've watched a few episodes to date, this YouTube channel is generally about living with a disability, educating people who are interested in, around, or near the disabled world, or have perhaps recently become a part of living life as a disabled person. Anyway, in this episode, we're going to talk about my current day-to-day life and how it works, how I make it work, and what's going on in a typical day, and how do I make it happen since I'm paralyzed. And just a comment about the organization of these videos. We're kind of going to start with a series of broad overviews of different aspects of my life, about spinal cord injury, about disabled living, and in the future we will then get down into more and more detail about different areas of my life as a person, and so on, getting more and more detailed. And you can help me by sending me questions and comments to the site, and I hope you do. So, what's my day-to-day life like at this point? Well, this is early spring 2021. I was laid off from my job just about exactly 1 year ago now. Excuse me. And I worked for 32 years in the banking industry. I currently live in my home in Northern California. I live with my wife, and we have 2 dogs, 3 cats, some nice neighbors, and we live in a nice town in Sonoma County, and I'm pretty comfortable. But don't forget, I'm paralyzed. So how do I get out of bed in the morning? Well, I have hired a number of attendants, and when I say attendants, that's the term that I've used throughout my life as a disabled person, or as a person with a disability. The term attendant these days is also can be also referred to as caregivers, helpers, medical attendants, companions. There's a lot of terms, and these people, I currently have hired 2 outside workers, attendants, who I schedule in such a way that somebody's here to get me up in the morning, get me dressed in bed, give me a bath, get me out of bed, transferring me into a wheelchair, doing the things I can't do. That's the future for everyone who's a quadriplegic, and some paraplegics also need some assistance. I need a relatively great deal of assistance. The person then feeds me breakfast, cleans up the kitchen. I also live with my wife, and she's also a caregiver. And so I have arranged people, and I was fortunate enough to have married someone about 10 years ago who helps me also when the attendants are not around. I get around in a power wheelchair or an electric wheelchair, same thing really. And I personally drive and control my wheelchair with my chin. And so there is a part of my chair called a joystick. It's this wooden knob here under my chin. Most quads, frankly, have a joystick that they push with their hand. I push the stick forward to roll forward, backwards to roll back, and to the left to go left, and so on. That's pretty simple. It definitely took a little bit of practice to get good control and not hurt myself or someone else, but it's not difficult. Um, Also, a part of today's living is, of course, the COVID pandemic. That resulted in not going downtown, going out to the store, shopping, doing much out of the house. I do enjoy driving myself, rolling myself, and in day-to-day living, I would say to my wife, I'm going to go for a walk now. I mean, I'm not crazy about the sensitivity. I say I'm going for a walk. Well, obviously, I'm not going for a walk. I'm going for a roll, but I usually say I'm going to walk downtown. Downtown is about 3/4 of a mile, more or less. But it's a nice downtown in a nice town, nice neighborhoods. I feel good about where I live and how I live and what I do. I miss work. I liked it. I'm making a YouTube channel now to try to convey to others that if you're disabled, you can have a job and a life and be happy. And if you're someone in the community, you can not be surprised and freaked out when you see someone in a wheelchair who is going to serve you in some business, in some order of your life. In coming videos, I can speak in more detail about my wheelchair, about how it works, how I work it, and what it's comprised of. But as I said, we're starting out with some kind of superficial glances at different aspects of my life and the world of disability. And so I think that'll wrap it up for this episode. And I want to say, please do press subscribe, press like if you did, send me some comments if you would, and ciao.